Welcome back, my dear students. In the first lecture, we have a revision of the course that we have discussed in our classroom. Today, we are going further to discuss the new lecture. It is the second lecture of our programming languages course. So, in the last lecture, we discussed about the algorithms and the pseudocode. We have put an algorithm on the slide, which is on your screen. That if you have to write a program in the pseudocode, that please enter length in the feet and convert it into meters. So what is the mathematical formula for that, you know better than that. But how we will write a pseudocode for it? So we will write enter the length in feet, then input length in feet. Okay, first that will be a description, then we will input the value, and in the next there would be a formula that will convert length in feet into meters, and then we will display. Okay, these are the 4 lines code that of the pseudocode that will be written. It is just in normal English language. So how this pseudocode will be converted into computer language? So we have two options. One is C and the other is C++. Both are same, but just a little bit difference between the two. What is the difference between C and C++? I have told you in the lecture, I think, or in the class, that C is a system programming language as well as application language, while the C++ is a application language, system language, as well as object-oriented language. So this is the little bit difference between these two, and there is also a difference of coding. You can writing statements of these languages. Inshallah, that is not very difficult, or you can say that is not ununderstandable. We will discuss, and inshallah you will realize it very quickly. So how we will write it first, this pseudocode in the computer language. So if you will look, this is a small code in C language. What we have to declare the type of data that are going to be displayed in the program. It is a float type data because it has decimal point. So we are going to discuss data types in the further in this lecture, but just it is an example. For example, it is decimal point data, therefore we showed that float length in feet, because we have to show each and everything that is not reserved or already defined in the C language, that is called variable. So this variable is decimal, so therefore we represent it by float, and if it would be integer, then we will represent it by int. So then the formula and then the printf for the displaying of this data. The formula will be written as you write or we write in our notebook from the for this calculation of anything. So then printf in the C language, and in the C out in the C++ language, and here are format specifier like print f for float data, and percent f for float data, and %d for decimal data, for %s for string data, and these format specifiers are not used in C++ language. We write there as C out. Clear? Length of meters, and the meters of length will be displayed at there. Okay, so this is called what? This is called a code in C language. So what we have done here, there are some input operations and there are some output operations that is written here in detail. Right, enter the length in feet. It is also a statement that will display message to the user, and then the user will enter length with us to our program, and the length will be calculated by a computer, and that will be displayed. Okay, so these some you can say slides about that thing. So we will have used two types of data in our program. One is called variable data, and the other one is called constant data. Yeah, identifiers. If you can say, identifier are of two types. What is identifier? Identifier is any word that identifies some value in a language. So these are of two types. One is called variable, and the other is called constant. What is variable? Variable is basically an identifier whose values are changed, maybe changed during the execution of the program. Okay, and what are constant? Constant are the identifiers whose values remain constant throughout the program. So this is the difference between these two things. So therefore we have to remember in our mind that variable values, for example, if I say enter age. Okay, so anyone can enter their own age, but if I will write it as age is equal to 5, age is equal to 20, age is equal to 30, then this age is fixed now, so it can't be changed during the execution of the program. So this is the difference. Similarly, if I say that please enter your name, so anyone can enter his or her name into the program, but when I write name Ali, Khan or Sarah, then it is constant, it can't be changed now. Okay, so this is the difference between between variable and constant. So types of data that is used in a language, what is that? So what is data types? It is the type of data that is allowed to be used in a language. Is called data types. We use, that we need numeric data to be entered a program, we need character data to be entered in a program, and similarly we need Boolean data to be entered in a program, and in mathematics we need some complex data to be entered into the program. So these are types of data that is allowed to be used in C or C++ language that will be included here. So here in our course, numeric data is of two types. One is called integer and the other one is called floating. So integer is that type of data that have no decimal point, while the floating data is a type of data that have decimal point. Integer is of three types. Then it is short integer, and long integer. Short integer is of two types, but that is signed, maybe plus, maybe minus. Integer is of 4 bytes, and long integer is of 2 bytes, and long integer is of 4 bytes. While the float data is of 4 bytes, and double is also a type of floating data that will be of 8 bytes. Similarly, character data that may be numeric, may be alphanumeric. Our name, our address is may be written in this form. So Boolean data that may be true, false. And the conditions, if you want to display some condition in the program, that may be Boolean. Clear? And similarly, we can write complex data as well in the C or C++ programs. Clear? So these are all the types of data that is represented in the program. Data processing and output. When we enter some values into the computer and we write formulas, that formulas will be automatically calculated by the computer, and the values will be printed according to our statement as we need from the computer. As I told you that in C language we use scanf for entering of data, and in C++ we use cin, and for output in C we use printf, and for output in C++ we use cout. So I will write both of the programs for you, and I will show you in the notes. Then inshallah it will be made very easy for you to compare it and understand it, inshallah. Okay, so the next topic, if this is assignment statement. The assignment statement is a statement that assign values to the variables. That age is equal to 12, name is Tariq, and so on. These are all things what these are called assignment statements. Okay, so age is equal to age plus 1, it is also an assignment statement. We have some assignment statement types, different types of assignment statement as well in the C or C++ program. So that will be discussed later on in the lecture, and that will be understandable to you, inshallah. Okay, so operations on data. So different types of operation can be performed on data. That may be unary, work on the single operand. That may be binary, one or two operands. That may be ternary, work on more than 2, mean 3 operands, and so on. So operators, there are different types of operators used in C or C++ language. Some operators are called arithmetic operators, some are called logical operators, some are called assignment operators. So different types of operators are used in C and C++ language to perform different types of operations, because for an operation we need two things. One is operands, and the other is called operator. So different types of operators are used: comparison operators, and conversion operators, arithmetic operators, and similarly logical operators. They are all used here in the C and C++ program, and inshallah we will learn about this thing so on. So operator precedence will be according to the BODMAS rule in mathematics. As I told you that the base of computer is mathematics, so the same formula will be followed as we know that. And the activity will be formed from left to right, an operator, and right operator is evaluated first. Okay, left operator is evaluated first. Associated may be either of the following, from left to right or from right to left. So structured programming, what is called structured programming? The type of programming where conditions are involved. You can say loops are involved, conditions are involved, sequence are involved, repetition and selection are involved. That is called what? That is called structured programming. For example, if then else and loops, etc. Okay, so these types of programs are called structured programs. And I told you, for condition we use if statement. For repetitive controls we use what? We use loops. And similarly for selection we use different types of statement in the program. Clear? So we will discuss about these types of statement later on in the course, but for the time being you should come to know about the operators, operands, and different types of operators and different types of statements too. Clear? Now how to develop a program? So there are different steps in the development of program. First we analyze the problem, then design the problem, then code the program, and then test the program. So these are the four basic steps in designing or writing program in C or C++ language. It is very essential to you remember it. First, analyze the problem, clear what the problem is, then design the program, how the problem will be solved, and then code this in C or C++, and then we will test by a compiler that the result is right or wrong. So this is called what? These are called the steps of writing a program. So what is step one? That is discussed in detail in this lecture, this slide. You should study it yourself. And then next is about step 2, design the program. We have to write a pseudocode or algorithm to solve the problem. And then step 3, code, as I told you, in C or C++, as in our course, or you can say you can use other languages too to code this program. And then fourth, we will, if you have compiled this and there are some errors, then we'll remove the errors first, and then we'll recompile it, and until unless we get the result. So this process is called what? This process is called testing of the program. Clear? So if the program is quite okay, then it will display as the result. There will be no type of error. And if there are some errors, the errors may be syntax, it may be the error in format, maybe semantic, maybe we have violated the rules. And there is a third type of error that is called runtime error, that the result of the program is not valid. We have used the wrong formula for calculation, or we have violated some rules of mathematics, therefore the result is not okay. So 3 types of error occurs in a program: syntax, semantic, and runtime error. Okay, so we have to keep in mind runtime error means logical errors. In simple word you can say that. So these are the steps for writing a program. Good programming practice क्या होगा बेटा? That would be a practice by we writing the programs again and again, run the program again and again, then we will able to run it. Okay, so there is an approach with us that is called process model, that is called Big Bang approach, that we should just take the task and we should just apply it and nothing worry about the result. What the result would be? If the result is not okay, then we will run it again and again, and then until unless we get the accurate result. So this is called what? This is called the programming. What is modular programming? So modular programming is an approach of programming, is also an approach of programming in which we write the program in small segments, small modules. Why it is needed and why we use this programming technique? Because if we write a program at once in a chunk, the whole program in 100 of lines, so if an error occurs, then it will be very difficult to find that error and compile it and correct it, and it will be repetitively used again and again. So there will be a great problem for us to correct it and find the errors. If it is in small modules, then it will be very easy to find the error, correct the error, and recompile it, because we know that the error is in this module. So therefore we just target that module, will correct the error, find the error, correct the error, and run that module. There is no need to go through from 1 to 100 lines, but just go to that line where those lines where the problem is, and just solve that and go further. Okay, so this is called what? This is called modular programming. Code modules. A module is an independent, self-contained section of code that performs a single task. That maybe you can say define a definition of function. A function is what? It is an independent module of program that runs to perform a particular task or job. Okay, so this is something about the modules. So there is another technique, as we have studied in the last lecture, that you know about the structure chart. We use different types of structure chart. You know that flow charts we use for designing the programs in the last lecture in our classroom. And if there is a need, then I will share it again with you. So you should keep in mind that one. And then each and every program need documentation, that what is the aim of writing this program, what the program will do, and for what purpose the program will be used, what is the system requirement of program, who compiled this program, who designed this program, and the details. These are called documentation of the program. And who has the copyrights of this program? It is called documentation. Okay, so this was our second lecture about some of the preliminary things of the programming language. Inshallah, in the third lecture we will then go to the fundamental of C and C++, and then we will discuss in detail. Thank you, beta. Thank you very much. If you have any question, then you can query and we will answer you there. Thank you.